After Lisa was born, doctors told us she had multiple fractures. They also said Lisa would be a difficult child to handle. She was bedridden for the first year after birth. She had to eat and sleep on a cushion because she would cry when we touched her.
I probably fell from the chair, and I fell from the sofa, and that didn't hurt at all. But then I fell off the armchair, and I broke my leg. I cried for a while, and then I fell asleep.
But why? 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 Why did it have to be us?
Osteogenesis imperfecta is one of the most common congenital bone disorders affecting children, if we're talking about those that are present from birth. Sufferers have brittle bones and are at risk of multiple fractures, but their mineral metabolism is in good order. The ailment is due to faulty collagen formation. As the main protein in connective tissue, collagen is the basis of the human skeleton. Even some adults don't become aware of the fact that they are affected until they give birth to a child that suffers from a more severe form of the disease. In its worst form, it changes the shape of the child's chest. Fractures make their arms and legs shorter, and in this state, even something as light and insignificant as a blanket can cause fractures. There's a swelling beneath the eye here. Did you hit something?
It was her brother.
He hit her.
They were fooling around.
Well, well. Here we have a person that we can already send to the anesthesiologist. Now we're going to have an orthopedic surgery. Most likely it's going to be done on the left shin, but strictly speaking, both should be operated on. But then we'll begin with the left one simply because it's so deformed that it prevents her from resting on both feet. Lisa is determined to walk. She can already stand on her feet. She's trying her best, but she can't walk because of these deformities. We hope that she's going to learn little by little. To begin, she's going to have to start using a walker. We think that everything will work out in the end. We'll be keeping our fingers crossed for her.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hi, gorgeous. How are you doing?
Fine.
Patient Yelizaveta Lisova, osteogenesis imperfecta. We're planning surgery for today. The aim is to fix the deformities with flexible titanium pins to remedy angular deformation and restore the limbs to a normal length.
Okay. And how old are you?
7.
7. Wow, what a big girl. I didn't think I was an outsider. My older twin brothers are totally healthy. My younger brother is okay too. My father suffered from brittle bone disease, but he could walk using crutches. Our mother left us because she felt the problem was too much for her. And after that, my father had to take on her role in the house too. I made some progress after being taught to walk. But one time, the wheelchair turned over due to a mishap. As a result, both my thighs fractured at the same time. When the doctor arrived, he said, "Just don't touch him, don't touch him." And that's how my childhood came to an abrupt end. The will of God is omnipotent. I've found my soulmate, a woman who shares my interests and principles. God willing, we will go through life together. And if we have to endure trials and tribulations, well, then so be it.
Our first child was born on the 1st of February 2003. When I was 15 weeks pregnant, my child was diagnosed with the disorder. But fortunately, there was no internet at the time, so I was not aware of how serious the condition actually is. The geneticist who was in charge of Arseny said to me, "You had been warned about everything. It was your decision to either give birth or to terminate the pregnancy." My second pregnancy was out of the blue. None of us could figure out when it could have happened. We were just staring at each other and shrugging our shoulders. That's how teenagers behave in similar situations.
Michal is our second child. He's okay. We had been under a great deal of pressure not to have a second child, especially considering that my wife Oksana would be running the risk of dying during childbirth. The argument was simple. It was this: should she leave this world, there'd be no telling what might happen to the first child. But thank goodness that never came to pass.
Dad, was that disease passed on to me by any chance?
Look, here I am with a kitten. I like playing with kittens.
I didn't pick up the disease, did I?
No, Michael, you didn't. Uncle Fyodor, Uncle Boris, and Uncle Yuri didn't either. But I did. And I passed it on to Maria and Arseny. That's how it is.
In the overwhelming majority of cases, the failure of just one gene is enough for osteogenesis imperfecta to be inherited. The risk of those affected passing the disorder on to their children is 50%.
Maria had fractures when she was still in the womb. The first month was the most difficult period for her. She spent it all in an intensive care ward.
There have been more than 10 fractures since then. Both upper arms have broken. Her thighs have fractured twice.
That happened when they were messing around. At the time, I wasn't being attentive enough. I didn't stop them in their playing around. When they began chasing the cat, she lost her balance, fell over, and broke her thigh. That incident delayed treatment. They even said that further treatment might be pointless. But if none was provided immediately, then she'd be back to square one. If this kept happening over and over again, then we would all have found it very difficult to deal with.
Is it very painful? Does it hurt? Where is the pain? Here? Or here?
Here.
That's where it's supposed to be. Where did it hurt yesterday? Do you remember? Okay, it's best to forget about it.
Mama came with me to the lift, and that was it. Then they took me away, and after that, I didn't feel anything. I slept, I woke up, and then that was it. I didn't feel anything. It was like magic.
I was worried about some technical aspects rather than the operation itself. Anything could have happened. The operation was successful, but of course it's hard to look at a child after being under anesthetic.
I didn't want to fill out all the forms registering her as disabled until she was 3 years old. I felt unworthy of society because my child was disabled. I didn't want to admit that she was an invalid. But whenever I rolled the pram out with Oля lying flat on her belly, everybody knew there had been another fracture. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm okay.
Look here, I've got a present for you. It's a Russian doll this time too, but it is of a different kind. It's made of crystal.
Thank you.
It's quite heavy.
Yeah, heavier than my cast.
As a rule, I come here to meet the parents of other children suffering from osteogenesis imperfecta. When our daughter was born, we had no idea of what would become of her. Doctors predicted a very poor outlook. They said the child was unlikely to be able to walk and faced a very bleak future. Dr. Natalia Belova has spent years treating children afflicted with the disease. She was the one who came up with the idea of setting up an association of parents with such children. By that time, I had written a thesis on clinical psychology. I realized that some simple methods could make life much easier for those parents. I knew that sharing my knowledge with others wouldn't be much of a burden to me. So I volunteered to head the association.
2 months have passed since the operation. We're going to remove the cast today.
I can see only part of this bone. This is odd.
They've removed the fibula, you see?
Altogether?
Yeah. It was almost at a right angle, so it had to be fixed somehow.
I understand from my contact with children and their families that most parents need support and encouragement. Because I noticed, children are unlikely to be at ease if they sense that the parents are also uncomfortable. I mean psychologically.
Push, push, push. You can grunt if you like. Well done. Let her push against your palm, but don't overdo it. Be gentle. Can you pull at the sock? Can you reach out? Right, do the same with the other hand. Do you need it to rest against it? Clutch your toes now.
It's like a yoga exercise.
When the child was born, I couldn't understand what was wrong with her. She was like jelly, her bones were soft and very flexible. They didn't tamper with her limbs, they just fixed them each time they got fractured. She was in plaster for 6 weeks at a time. She would simply fall down and break her bones. Her weak muscles don't support her spine properly. A half-hour walk is enough to make her spine shorter through the process of compression. I do exercises with her. I think she feels more comfortable when I'm by her side. What's most difficult is making her realize that she must help herself by getting stronger through exercise. Most of the children playing in the courtyard are boys. They keep Lena at arm's length. Lena can't take part in simpler games because there aren't enough girls around. She does need contact with other people. I see that she wants to communicate with the world. She knows she has admirers, and that's a source of inspiration for her.
Hello. Hi, Lena. Listen, I want to invite you to attend the event you've been looking forward to. The place is called the Museum of Entertaining Science. All of us will be there on Saturday. By the way, Nikita is coming too.
Really?
Yes.
Great. We haven't seen each other for such a long time.
You miss him?
Very much.
Of course, both my parents were atheists. They were among those people who built the Soviet Union. And in those days, it wasn't all that easy to express your faith here in the 20th century. But when I started to live on my own, then I was baptized. That's when I was 26 years old. It was abundantly clear to me that if I had a guardian angel who was looking over me and protecting me, then hurting his feelings would really not be a nice thing to do. I felt that I would offend him if I didn't join the Orthodox Church. Mikhail, look at that cross here in this holy place. The entire family of royal martyrs was murdered in 1918, and their holy remains were burned here. Those of Alexei, the heir apparent, and his sisters. That's why this is a holy place. They pray for us. Do you understand?
I don't have the worst husband in the world. My children aren't too problematic either. Things aren't so dreadful that I have to complain and weep all the time. The world is a tough place to live in. I'd like the children to be more self-reliant without being dependent on other people.
The thing is that we can't see life as something beyond your reach or something you can't cope with. If you're a human being in the proper sense of the word, almost anything is within your power. I may have become somewhat braver when I chose to rely on God's will. I had a dream. I wanted to visit St. Petersburg. I nurtured it for 25 years. I yearned to go there. Finally, my dream came true. If you abandon yourself to God's will in the belief that whatever happens will happen, it's easier for you to achieve your goals. That gives you the courage to face unknown challenges.
Mama told me either we're going to go to school or study at home. I said I'm going to go to school, like all children. Staying at home and studying on my own would be boring. I don't have any bad grades, only good and great. I don't like reading or writing. Writing takes too much time, and I'm not particularly fond of reading. Mathematics is more interesting. We do exercises and draw patterns in our math lessons. I'm gonna be an artist because drawing, that's what I like most of all.
The children understand that Lisa is not like them. They know they'd better not pester her and leave her alone to avoid unnecessary problems. But she does try to join in. Sometimes she even chases other children as she drives her wheelchair around the room. Or else she chimes in when the boys or girls are discussing something. She has friends in the 3rd and 5th forms as well as her own. She copes pretty well without me. Sometimes she asks me to stack or pick up books because she finds it difficult. I fear for her safety because she might fall from the chair if she leans over. If I knew that somebody was taking good care of her at school, I'd get a job. That's my dream.
Oля has turned my life around. Before she was born, I wasn't aware of what the world is like for disabled people. It really was beyond my perception. I sensed that their problems provided me with a host of opportunities for reassessing my values. Now I communicate with an entirely different kind of people, interesting people. My life has taken quite a different turn, and I like it very much. My first wish was to bring them together so that parents could see one another and children could realize they weren't the only ones suffering from that disorder. They need to know that other children have been diagnosed with the same disease, but they lead a normal life all the same. Here they can do what they like. It's very important for parents to know how their children feel. They should allow them to move as much as they can. You run a risk by doing so, but it's a risk worth taking, because you know why you're taking it. They are friendly to one another. More than that, girls now communicate with boys. For example, I know that Lena has a bit of a crush on Nikita Serednitsky.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Thanks.
You're welcome.
When Nikita and I first met, we had plenty to talk about. I was glad to learn that there was somebody else like me. He likes playing online games. If I find a new game, he plays it with me. He sends me messages as soon as I'm on the internet. I prefer doing things with children in wheelchairs. I would like to meet more people, so that I could visit them for birthdays and other parties.
After I gave birth to twins, this kid would come from the kitchen carrying the baby bottle. She would use it to feed them with milk. She was only 3 years old, and already she was trying to help me.
С днем рождения, Анюта! С днем рождения вас!
I wish you happiness and health. I hope that you'll be kind and well behaved.
I love you.
I love you.
Blow out. My husband says that when we're gone, the other children will take care of her. No doubt about that. It's great to have such a large family. It is such a blessing. Some kids don't move much, but there's no stopping her. She won't sit still for even 5 minutes. So far we're doing well. This concerns both the state of her health and the state of our family. I think we can congratulate ourselves. We've taught her that she can have a good life. She knows that there's a good deal of interesting, useful and entertaining things in this world. She will never face a situation where nobody needs her.
Honestly, if I had a child diagnosed with osteogenesis imperfecta, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'd be glad if it happened in my life. It's because I know these children so well, and they're full of optimism, and I know that they're going to go very far in life. Any parent has to be proud of such a child. I just wish that there were no tears, and there was no pain.